First up, we talked about this MVP, SGA, Joker, or co-MVPs. What do you think?
I would love to see co-MVPs. I would love to see these voters, all 100 of them, call each other, tally up y'all votes so these guys can tie, because I
Yep.
think it's incredible. In saying that, I have to pick one or the other. I have to guard Joker. I know how tough that is. It's extremely tough. I've seen people get fatigued off of greatness over and over again. LeBron James only has 4 MVP trophies.
That's
LeBron
crazy.
James was the MVP way more than 4 times in the NBA. So because people has done that, keep that same energy. What's been a big deal is being the best player on the best team. And not only is Shai the best player on the best team, but he's playing at such an elite level. It ain't like he the best player on a even team and like he a little better.
Right.
Like he is one
He
of the
take
best
them
players
to
in the
yeah.
NBA and
Yeah.
has taken that team higher. And so in saying that, just with what MVP has meant, with what the MVP has done, I think it's going to look crazy in 10 years. You put those numbers next to each other and be like, Jokic didn't win. But in saying that, I got to go with SGA.
Got you. SGA, to your point, defensive presence underrated this year. Steals.
Absolutely.
Joker, the first center to average a triple double, and for an entire season. I mean, I'd like to see co MVPs just so when we go back to history, people can go back and see the type of year that both of these players were having and how they were going back and forth in this climb for the MVP race. But if I have to side a vote, I would side for SGA because I watched this man play defense. I watched him lead his team. And to your point, he is just on a high level of frequency. And he's pulled a lot of these talented guys on this team up to his level, right?
I guess he did.
Playing at
Yes,
a
he
level
has.
above.
I think one of the most underrated things about the year SGA had is they spent an extended period of time this year with no center. They had
Mm,
Hardenstein was out, Chet was out, and Jalen with the bigger Jalen Williams was out. They were out
mm,
there running 5 guards and still winning games.
that's crazy.
That is extremely impressive. And I just think another thing that kind of gives SGA the boost. Even when things weren't ideal, he still found a way to lead his teams to wins.
Yep,
And I think that says a lot.
I agree. I totally agree.
Most improved player. Who you got for most improved? Dyson Daniels, Austin Reaves.
I would say Austin Reaves.
A lot of people saying Cade Cunningham.
Well, Cade Cunningham is too good, and he was so good last year that he's too good to be most improved. We expect that right out of Cade, and Cade expect that out of himself, and he's just living into his magic. He got the All-Star accolades, and so what's next for him is consistent All-Stars. When you look at somebody like a Dyson Daniel coming out the G League and coming out of nowhere to make a name for himself. Then you look at an Austin Reaves, who was he a second round pick or
He's
undrafted? I think it was.
undrafted.
I think he was undrafted, right? Making a name for himself to stay on the Lakers, to then being a fan favorite off the bench, now being a bona fide NBA star. He's real.
Mm-hmm.
And he became a real household name and somebody you got to recognize this year, and went from 15 to 20 points a game with LeBron, with Luka still in the mix. So I would give it to Austin Reaves.
And when it wasn't Luka, AD. It was another
AD, and he was
perennial
cracking with
all-star.
AD. Yeah.
Absolutely. I got to go with Austin Reaves as well. I think Dyson Daniels is right there. Cade Cunningham, no chance. Like you said, Cade's way too good. He's been way too
Yeah.
good for this award.
And shout out to Dyson Daniels for making a name for
Absolutely.
himself, the work he put in. Like he making Atlanta have somebody else to talk about besides what Trae Young is doing.
Absolutely. I think, but when I look at Austin Reaves, he's been arguably the best third option in basketball. And when called upon and presented the opportunity, he's been an incredible 2.
Yeah.
When called up on. And so I think to go from undrafted to that, 15 points to 20 points, there's a big difference in the NBA of averaging 15 points to 20 points. Like, you may look at that and be like, oh, that's only 5 points. A 15-point-a-night guy off night is 6.
Yes.
A 20-point-a-night guy off night is 16.
Yep, 15,
And
16.
To put into perspective for you, the jump that Austin Reaves has made, to jump your average from 15 points to 20 points, that's also the difference in like someone making $15 million a year and someone making $35 million a year. Like that is a drastic jump. And obviously we know he can pass the ball too. He rebounds the ball.
Yep.
I think I got to go with Austin Reaves. Like you said, shout out to Dyson Daniels. I think what he's done is incredible. To see him playing at the level he's playing at is great. But I got to go with Austin Reaves. And I did not know J.J. Redick was campaigning for Austin Reaves when he said the awards is the high pick award that was on lottery pick. What did he say? Lottery pick that's now on a high contract that finally had a great
it was a
year,
campaign.
something of that nature. It was a campaign. I didn't realize it. J.J., you slid that one in, but you got a point, my brother.
He definitely made people think about the vote. Rookie of the year.
Easy. Stephon Castle, no question.
Stephon Castle.
No question.
Love that kid. He next up.
No question. Stephon Castle, easy. We're going to look back at this. Stephon Castle is going to be a star. And, of course, he should have won Rookie of the Year. He's going to be next to Wemby in San Antonio, dynamic duo, back-to-back Rookie of the Years, and it's all going to make sense. Yeah. But Stephon Castle, no question, is Rookie of the Year. And I'm going to tell you this. Stephon Castle, when he improved that jump shot, and I say win because I know he will, because he's a willing shooter.
Yep.
One of the biggest keys about being learning to shoot the ball with consistency is being a willing shooter. And he is willing. No matter how many he misses in a row, he raising up, taking that next one. And I love that attitude. That kid is going to be a star. I'm looking forward to a Rookie of the Year. Congrats, young fella. It should be yours in the bag. We got Coach of the Year. Some say Kenny Atkinson. The Cavs were 48-34 in 23-24. They increased that to 63 wins, possibly 64. Number 1 seed in the East. You got Ime Udoka, 41-41 last season, number 11 in the Western Conference standings. Fast forward to 2025, they have 52 wins, could be 53, could have been 55. They've kind of bombed the last couple games. Like, nonetheless, Ime Udoka has to be in the running. And then JB Bickerstaff, 14 wins to 44 wins.
Damn.
First season of coaching this team. He was the coach of the team that the Cavs, who Kenny Atkinson has now bumped up 15 wins to 63. Who you got? Those 3 guys, Coach of the Year.
Is this Kenny Atkinson first year with the Cavs?
This is Kenny Atkinson's first year. He was with the Dubs last year.
That's crazy. And this JV Bickerstaff first year with Detroit?
This is his first year.
Oh, this is a hell of a storyline. And what I would do is I would honor them both. This would be a co-coach of the year. You got to do co-coach of the year. Like I would give 2 awards out because it's just, if it has to be one person, cool. But I don't think it should just be one guy.
Ime Udoka went from 11 to 2.
That's crazy too. Give them all an award.
But you can't do that.
Give them all an award.
I agree. They're all deserving. They're all deserving. Damn. But you cannot do that.
I mean, damn. That's too hard. If I'm voting, I don't know. That's too tough, dude. That's tough. They all matter. Like what JB did, taking Detroit from nothing to something to a playoff team. What Ime did from last year, taking them to the 2 seed, showing a lot of promise. People thought that Houston would have a team that's going to be in the playoffs. So, he overexceeded expectations. And then Kenny Atkinson came in and took over a job from a team and, damn near got them 20 more wins than what they had the year before, and the number one seed in the East. So if I have to give the award, I would probably should go to Kenny Atkinson, um, with JB at a very, very close second, almost a tie, and Ime at a very, very close second.
I respect that. I think when you look at the system that Kenny has brought to that team, like they had talent already, and he took that same talent and has turned that talent into what it should be. I think it's hard not to go with Kenny. I also think he turned Evan Mobley into a star. And when I say turned Evan Mobley into a star, understand that I'm not saying Kenny Atkinson turned. Evan Mobley has worked his ass
He
off to
he
become who he's
unleashed
become.
he
But
unleashed the
he
star.
he put him in position to reach who he's supposed to become, which is a star in the NBA. And Evan Mobley's had an incredible year on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
He will be an all NBA performer. Evan Mobley, I think when you look at getting Darius Garland back to all-star form, like Darius Garland was the lost man last year. Like Darius Garland was on his way out of Cleveland. It was all going wrong. It looked like he had popped for a year or two and it was going the wrong way. Kenny comes in, push that confidence back into him, put him in a system where he can thrive in. And so I think when you're looking at that, on top of winning 64 games, I got to go with Kenny Atkinson. I think that's JB's incredible to go from 14 to 44 wins. I think it's incredible. Ime to go from 11. I'm a big fan of Ime. Just the attitude that Ime give his teams is crazy. Played against him in the NBA Finals. He's going to Houston and taking a joke of a team after James Harden to the second seed in the West. Brought an attitude, stepped up and said the guys that he wanted, bringing in Fred VanVleet as a free agent was huge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like bringing in a veteran presence like Jeff Green was huge, you know, and these are all things that Ime Udoka's point out and saying, no, I need this. And so bringing in Dylan Brooks, free agency, you know, people was off Dylan Brooks. Grizzlies off Dylan Brooks. He like, yo, bring him over here.
Yeah.
Huge. You know what I'm saying? So what Ime's done has been incredible. And I think he's right up there and deserving, but I think I got to go with Kenny Atkinson on this one as well.
Awesome.
Sixth man of the year.
Oh, Payton Pritchard.
Yeah.
That's easy.
We got sixth man of the year. You got Payton Pritchard or Malik Beasley.
I got Payton Pritchard. That's easy, man. The way he has improved. I'd have put Payton Pritchard up there also for most improved, just to put him in that category. But talking about energy, you know, fire and a difference maker for Boston off the bench and another leader. They found another leader. They found another go-to guy, which is crazy. And then not to discount what the season that Malik Beasley has had, because he's been another part of that Piston team, that 14 to 44 win turnaround. And he's been a great complement and reliable source for Cade Cunningham. And so 312 threes this season, a Piston record. Shout out to Malik Beasley. But when we talking about six man and a difference maker and a game changer, somebody's coming in and change the game, I got to go with Payton Pritchard.
I think Payton Pritchard's been incredible. He increased his points from 9 to 14, which is a big jump. You know, I think he's had a great year. 251 made threes. Great year on a great team. Won 60 games. But I got to go Malik Beasley on this one. Malik Beasley has found a new home. 312 threes this season. I think both of these guys shoot threes. Malik Beasley's averaging 16 points off the bench. So he's winning in both of those categories, and their team is winning. I think when you can look at record, but obviously Boston's going to have a much better record than Detroit. They have a much better team than Detroit. But I got to go with Malik Beasley on this one. Hit your three, hit your shimmy player, your hip dance or whatever it is. But I think Malik Beasley is deserving. I think he should get it. I think he's earned it. That's who I'm rolling with.
There it is. All right, last but not least, Defensive Player of the Year. I will give you the floor because you know where my vote is going. What do you want to say about Defensive Player of the Year? It's your last one.
Oh, man. I think put it in the bag. That's what I think. Put it in the bag. Yours truly. That's who I'm rocking with. You know,
Let's
I
do
think
it.
listen, I think Evan Mobley has had a great year. Dyson Daniels has had a great year. I think, Zubac has had a great year. I think, all those guys have had a great year. I ain't taking nothing away from them. And I see them on first team all defense. But I think DPOY should go to yours truly. I'll take that.
Yeah, I gotta rock with you, bro. You've been, we talk about the season. It's solid, consistent, and you just been a terror. You've had amazing moments when you look at team defense and team awareness and having that anchor. I mean, you're the guy, and look at the Warrior numbers. So, shout out to you. You my pick. You've been my pick all year, man. Let's lock in. Let's go, Dub Nation.